So, who knows? Ultra Prime picked up that game 1 win. We come into draft, teams on same sides, pick and ban so far, literally the exact same. Ultra Prime, yeah, just going to go straight back to the Lee Sin. Right. And I got to say, I feel bad for Crisp in that game 1 because I felt like Crisp played phenomenally. You were even saying if BLG win, you want to see him get MVP because, my God, it's Tahm Kench.
So good.
The engages, like him saving WeiWei in that one skirmish where Bree TP'd and killed everyone, like it was just going so well. Looks like for BLG, they are going to change one thing, though. They have been one of the teams who have been willing to go away from the Gwen because of the counter picks that Breathe plays, but looks like they will just lock that one in. Did feel like Aphelios was able to do a lot in those later team fights, especially around the Baron, right? Got in there, the needle work, just the amount you're able to do in an enclosed space. So I think it's a pretty good call by BLG to pick up this one because, I mean, they have 2 of the strongest power picks on the patch, if not the 2 strongest power picks.
And I'd say if they want to go for their support again, or even jungle, one of those is going to be a power pick too, right? Like Tahm Kench is so good in the LPL at the moment. And as Chris wants to rinse and repeat, look at that nod. Yeah, I can nod with that. I'm down with that. Yeah. Okay, Chris, we'll nod with you, and that's because he's got Tahm Kench again.
Now for Ultra Prime. Ooh, this one would be pretty interesting. Just going straight back towards the LeBlanc, you have the option of banning out 2 of the picks you don't want to play against on the opposing side. I wonder if they dedicate a ban towards the Azir because FoFo did do a lot that game. Obviously didn't make the most happen early. Did have some fights where I think he could have played it better, but ultimately felt like a lot of the deciding fights were, is FoFo alive or not?
Yeah. Like FoFo's ulti, is it come down or not too? I asked that question a lot too. Lyric,
you did.
I feel like to the point of being mean at some point, but look, we're in a similar position. This time around, we instead of getting the jungle though early for BLG, we get the Gwen. So Ultra Prime, is it even worth banning away junglers? Yes.
Looks like for them the answer's gonna be yeah, but WeiWei has played a ton, and I mean Volibear's gone. The Xin Zhao still being something that's left open. Once we get further down in that pool, you'll have like the Hecarim and Rek'Sai technically still available, even if you don't have a ton of early pressure that the Rek'Sai can sit up for. But point is, there's still options on the side for WeiWei if he does get heavily banned out. BLG on the opposite side going to be banning away some of the top lane answers into the Gwen. And especially for Aphelios when he hasn't played all too much this split.
Yep.
Jace really being the standout of something that plays into Gwen since they've already banned out the Kennen themselves. I don't think Aphelios seems like the type of player to be too confident pulling out something like the Akali. Maybe you could go for a Jax and sit up her side lane. So some options there as the Hecarim going to be taken off the table. Still leaves open that Xin Zhao.
I mean, Gnar as well on that top lane champion pool. He's played a couple of games with Gnar so far. Camille too. We've seen hit or miss, against champions like Gwen. So there are some options for Aphelios. You bring up a great point that, it has been ZS this split mainly. Aphelios coming in a bit recently, and there we go. We do get the Gnar. So a different direction of team composition for Ultra Prime now with their top lane locked in.
I feel like we've seen Gnar struggle a lot into this matchup, though, just with the all-in threat that Gwen does provide. You don't really have too much kill threat yourself. Obviously, you could try and chain up with jungle once you are bringing out that Mega Gnar bar, but now we're moving over to BLG. They are just going to go back to the Azir. They said, hey, this matchup was totally fine. FoFo was doing a lot of work in the team fights in that last game. Still going to play this style that is kind of kiting out the engage coming out from Ultra Prime. And when you're playing this kite, you're playing the zone control. I mean, Poppy offers so much with that ultimate.
Yeah, and, against Lee Sin, against LeBlanc, Gnar, Rakan would be the same. He would stop. Well, sorry, she would stop. 4 engages coming through here as well. Zenith Blade, blocked by Steadfast Presence, so you're going to get a lot of value out of W against this comp. But I know, Lyric, that's a bit one-dimensional, but it just feels like for WeiWei, he's going to have a great time here on this champ.
Oh, I agree. And again, holistically, I think BLG's comp has an identity. It makes sense what they're trying to do. The one thing I will say that we saw evident in the last game is that they looked like they really struggled without having any full-on engage in their composition. They kept trying to bait out those Barons or start Elders, and since they didn't have a great way of starting the fight, that's what ended up with WeiWei going for that engage in the last game where he just got chunked out. So that could be something that bites BLG in their mid-game once again. I think how game state and win cons are going to be very similar. For BLG, it's slower, it's scaling. Again, it's kiting out, get on objective first, force them to walk into you, For Ultra Prime, we saw the pick comp come into fruition in last game. It's going to be very similar this time around, still with that mid-jungle as a focus. And then in team fights, Cryin trying to whittle people out, trying to find the flank coming out from Hacker to land the kick, and then setting up for Elk to be the massive carry.
Well, pick comp is important because for Ultra Prime, you said it yourself. It was Hacker and Cryin who started linking up past that, what was it, past that, like, 15.
Kind of like 15 minute mark?
Yeah. It took a while, but eventually they got there, and and then Ultra Prime, they got to play the flipping game in front of the Elder at the end. For BLG, let's see if they can shore it up because their backs are against the wall. Ultra Prime are already out. They're a team that are fighting for nothing except being a pain in the bottom. For BLG 7-7, they are outside the playoff range for now. If they lose this series, it is getting concerning with BLG only having a total of 2, including this one, left to play. 9's the magic number, and BLG losing this would not be able to reach it. It would be massive to see Uzi return to the LPL, and in his first split, with Doggo at his side, not make playoffs. That would be a news story.
Uzi still has not picked up a series win. This is his 4th series he's partaking in, his 2nd one that he's been like a full-time starter throughout all of the games. So that would be quite a crazy world to live in, but also goes back to, I remember something Dagda was talking about early in the split, right? That Uzi has not been successful on a team other than RNG. It doesn't matter what rosters he's gone to. Thinking back to, I believe it was the OMG team he was on, when he went to like QG and was on that roster, just not able to work out, only finding success with RNG, and sadly that curse might still hold true.
Yeah, I mean, Uzi's runs in early years as well is what I always think about. And Lyric, I think about it because 2013, 2014 World Finals, not able to pick up the title, and then between rosters in the LPL, then returning to RNG is, of course, it rebranded into RNG. Before it was Starhorn Royal Club, it was just Royal Club, Starhorn Royal Club later on. And then RNG finally came through, and he won an MSI, but never got his world title. Getting a bit ahead of myself, but it's always fun talking about narrative for the person that has the most narrative in LPL history besides someone maybe like Clearlove or even Zatai, a PDD. Like, there's a lot of other people. Good knock up here from Chris.
Ooh.
Ignore me for the time being because 2v2 in the bottom lane from Crisp and Uzi. We're talking about the man, and he said, I heard you knocking, and Elk won't come in.
And it goes back to the point of Chris just being still such a monster in this split so far. I really do feel like he's just always in the conversation for best support in the league.
And again,
setting up, finding it again.
Oh my God, he's just done the same thing again. Like, Elk is now 2 for 2. The heal burn this time as well. Versus Chris Ignite. It's going to be a summoner trade in the end. But the bottom lane, this is what happened in game 1, Lyric. It was pretty good when it was just 2 versus 2.
Oh, they're even going for the dive, but Hacker's here.
They're so deep by themselves, and with Hacker there too. Now they need to kill onto Elk. Down is Crispin. Down is Uzi. Lyric. Oh, a bit too far.
Yeah, you just threw everything away that you worked for.
What?
My God, are we actually sitting in a world where Ultra Prime might 2-0 BLG? Is really going to happen? Everything was going so crisp. Everything was perfect. They look for the aggressive play towards that bottom side. Unfortunate that Hacker, did do his, top to bot clear. We see them going for the dive here. Elk's only level 1, so that's why they want to look for it. Looks like even if Hacker wasn't here, it would have been quite rough. Maybe Uzi would have been able to find one, and you're trading a 1-for-1, but still. Now, luckily, neither kill went over to the Aphelios, so not picking up too much gold, but still not really denying him all that much either with your AD carry going down.
And we're going to go for round 3, aren't we? Or was that round? That was round 3. Round 4 at the potential with WeiWei getting involved. So they're going to double down, it seems like. At the very least, Uzi has shove in the bottom lane with Chris once again. We keep panning towards mid because FoFo's getting great trades here on the Azir. As the smite comes down and it's WeiWei to steal it from under Hacker's nose. Nicely done. BLG needs something because they're down about 700 gold after the mishap spot.
Yeah, and I feel like that's one of the reasons we're seeing FoFo trade so aggressively as well, trying to make up and find advantages elsewhere. Not really having too much in terms of CS advantage. Did force Cryin back, but he also had TP. FoFo, now you would expect to utilize that TP to get back to lane as well. Bree, this had pressure in this top lane matchup like we've talked about, the all-in threat coming out from the Gwen means Alias does have to play safe, other than when he does find those Mega Gnar timings. But even then, Bree throws down his W. Alias is fighting into that, where you're getting the more resistances. You have the damage and easily able to stack up those Qs. So overall, BLG still having some advantage in other places that WeiWei can play around. But we already hit on for BLG's comp. It's not all too proactive in the early game. You don't really have the setup in your lanes. It's a lot more about the 5v5.
We want to see it pace out once again, you know, get into that 5v5 that should have been successful in game number 1. Ultra Prime pick comp you already talked about here. Off to, you know, a decent start with Hacker picking up the kills. And when we have a comp that revolves a lot around mid-jungle, Lyric, it feels like Lee Sin getting early access to kills is actually a very good thing to get the game pace started.
100%, and even just moving beyond mid-jungle, right? Once we get to mid-game, I feel like Ultra Prime's comp is just very strong. The amount of bursts coming out from their jungle, mid, and AD carry. You have ShiauC who can start up fights on pretty much at the snap of fingers. So Ultra Prime have options. BLG, though, trying to get their bot lane back into it after the earlier mishap.
I mean, Elk is pretty suspect to this one. WeiWei hovering off to the side. Ultra Prime been playing this 2v2 pretty well. Despite Elk walking into Ws from Crisp in the early stages of the lane, it's still going to be a safe phase as WeiWei has to walk away. This is, what, Blast Cone? Yep, just taken to get away, get a bit of access, and nothing happens in the bottom lane. Elk and ShiauC continue to be in a pretty good position.
And we need to remember that Uzi has no flash, so Hacker can look to come and punish it since he is on the bottom side. Ultra Prime are pushing their wave in, so shouldn't really open up a gank opportunity to come out from Hacker, and Hacker has to be wary without knowing WeiWei's position of trying to set up for a dive themselves. So for Ultra Prime, let's see what Hacker opts into. Pings are coming down onto the lane.
Gravitum is available as well, and he's got both of them underneath their thumb. Ignite onto Uzi. In the 2v2, they don't even need Hacker. Elk pushing Chris further out of the lane, and that's just disaster again for BLG's 2v2.
You find kills, you're also denying Uzi this massive wave.
Yeah.
Hacker's being allowed to take Dragon off of this. This one 2v2 kill opens up so much for the side of Ultra Prime, now sitting above a 1k gold lead at 6 minutes.
I mean, Elk again, bit of a star of the show. I will say ShiauC too. The Rakan engages have been nice, and the little counter plays. He's 2-0, he's got a bounty, the only bounty in the game at this point. And I don't know what to say, Lyric. BLG, after throwing away game number 1, or I shouldn't say throwing away, after flipping it or at least making it so volatile, game 2 is looking worse for wear right off the get-go.
Yeah, and I mean, they tried to make so much happen. We see ShiauC here finding the lockup. Looks like the Q from Elk would have hit regardless, though, to ensure the lockup from the Gravitum, and sets up for that kill to come out from Ultra Prime. So now for BLG, I mean, right? I mean, they still scale phenomenally, so that will still always be there for their composition as long as they don't fall too far behind. But it's just opening up a lot more opportunities for the side of Up to create aggressive plays. Now Uzi summoners are back up, so if that engage does come out this time around, he will be able to dodge out on it. But still, the fact you're having to play from this position is quite rough. ShiauC already having tier 2 boots. We'll have a lot more movement speed to look for these plays around the map, hover around mid, try to unlock Cryin, and hopefully we can start seeing those plays come out from Cryin earlier than we did in game 1.
Yeah, that's right, because he didn't get to move until 15-20 minutes in the game, and even then it was pretty precarious with where he was going. I think also for Ultra Prime, with how bot's going now, we can see that the vision control continues to be perfect in the river. Double control ward actually just moved around by Cryin through mid, but the whole river, in fact, is all belonging to Ultra Prime, who have a nice gold lead here at the 8-minute mark. And for BLG, Lyric, again, yes, scaling there, but momentum built in Ultra Prime's favor as Herald's now up. We have level 6 here for Elk 2. Hacker's already on the objective. And WeiWei can't get a response play down in the bottom lane.
No, and we even see Ultra Prime knowing that WeiWei will probably come look for this invade into the enemy jungle, trying to take away Gromp before WeiWei can come take that himself. He is able to do that as well.
Yeah, Chris has come over the wall. Now he's pressed W for this one. Flash is still available. Ignite down again. Elk has to burn his own flash, and look, sticking too long for Gromp. BLG at least denying them staying for turret.
Yeah, nice by BLG to be able to do this right. Denying them something since they know Hacker was on the top side of the map. I still feel like Ultra Prime, you know, kudos to them for being able to get that Gromp. Elk, in the end, did have to burn his flash. and they still end up losing the blue buff. So BLG at least coming out with the punish.
Well, Ultra Prime going to move back to the turret for now, though, so they're not going to lose too much apart from the 2 turret plates. Hacker sitting here with the Herald. I will say that BLG short up the gold by about 400 or so. So nice little play in the end as well when everything continued to go downhill. Lyric at 9.5 minutes. What comes next? Where are we dropping Shelly? Which habitat is she going to go into?
I think it'll still be bot lane. We haven't seen Ultra Prime Soul lanes able to push out too aggressively to chunk out plates. A concept we've hit on a lot, right, is dropping Herald mid when the enemy team has a lot more wave clear than you, because it could just be so hard to get that turret later on in the game. So that is an option with ShiauC having so much roam potential.
Okay. Well, we'll wait and see at the very least. Moving as a unit now. ShiauC linking up with Cryin. This is what we wanted to see with the early tier 2 boots and the vision control. Trying to hit FoFo in the face with a bunch of feathers. Water over the wall. FoFo missing ping like, dude, something's up. ShiauC now spotted out. Hacker here as well. No place taken through mid, so it will be a hard crack, but still controlling the river for now. And Hacker just buying his time for his target.
Yeah, and Hacker and ShiauC just pathing right through mid, showing on the wave to relieve some pressure from Elk. They know if they show, then Uzi's going to have to back off, and he isn't going to be able to keep pressuring down those turret plates. He's really close to getting a third one down. Now just going to go back to pick up those Krugs. And for BLG, right, this is what you want. You want the game to slow down. You want it to be a little bit less hectic, just to get as much standing gold off the map as you can, so you can get to that part of the game where you are just so strong.
Look at the, as Cryin goes in, ignore me for now. Look at the comms. Look at the face cams on BLG. And when we get around to Uzi, there's something that I thought I would never see. A very quiet AD carry who's not really talking. As for BLG, they want to talk for this one. It's a flash away from Crisp after setting up the engage. That's someone just down. Hacker on the bottom side. That Herald timing out in about a quarter of the time as FoFo going to get engaged on. And yeah, the chain doesn't connect as he gets over the wall. WeiWei was there too, just in case. They're trying to deny the Herald for as long as possible. And to be fair, BLG have done somewhat of a good job.
To be fair, though, Ultra Prime know everything they're doing, right? That one ward behind Dragon is doing so much for the side of Ultra Prime, letting them know where WeiWei is every step of the way. We're going to see Herald drop 4 mid like we talked about. Going to give some gold over to Cryin, who feels like he's had a lot more pressure in this game as compared to game 1. Just constantly poking in and out up against FoFo, pushing him back. So for BLG, they're still just hovering around bot side. Dragon is up, so can open up for this, but again, that one ward. You see that ward right there off to the left. They know everything WeiWei's doing.
Going to track him. FoFo even getting tagged out through the mid lane. This makes for a precarious dragon play for BLG. Their mid laner who might have TP still has a health bar that he needs to back on. Now for Hacker, he's not going to start it, but at the very least, vision control still there. And in what has been a slow enough early game, continues to be Ultra Prime favored. 1,200 gold in the lead. We are getting towards mythics and first items. Aphelios actually has the hull breaker here on the Gnar, so he'll be the first one on Summoner's Rift to pick up his fully completed item as he has TP and is heading back top.
So we'll be able to do better in this 1v1 matchup. And just kind of looking at the game holistically, I feel like the big effect that the bot lane play had from BLG's side is we've seen ShiauC able to hover mid a lot more than he was able to in game 1. We've already seen him move to mid twice. Sure, it hasn't opened up into a kill, but it feels like it's allowed for this pressure to come out from Cryin for him to go for these heavy trades, and has really just given Ultra Prime a lot more control over this early game so far.
I want something to happen. I'm just sick of this little dance. I need more action. We started out with these crazy dives that made no sense.
So,
what is it?
Just what you're saying is you hate the waltz. You want something like a salsa coming. Samba. Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that a sexy one? I don't know. They all have fun names, don't they? Honestly, I just think all of them are meant to do with the partner. I think if you said I'm sumbering alone, people would be like, oh, look at this guy. Or girl, I don't know.
You know, okay, nothing can happen. Maybe we want some breakdancing, because breakdancing is like action-packed, yet absolutely crazy. So,
there you go. You ever told someone, you ever told one of your friends you're dancing alone? Like, can you imagine their response? You're not going to be the cool person. If you tell people you're dancing alone, it's like I'm
It
sorry.
actually makes you even cooler because then you show you're that person crying.
He went back in on that, but it's because Ultra Prime are here. Good response. Emperor's Divide was not a slide and glide, wasn't a swoop and boop. That was that was poo.
I don't even know. But point is, right? Oh, wait, TP's coming out
And
from
Chris
Cryin.
is interrupted with Gravitum. He can't dive out. Cryin's here. Uzi's already been spat out. There's no safety. And BLG are just losing all across the map. Crisp is next up at the dive with 4 people. He's buying time, but Hacker's tanking up. 6-0. Ultra Prime are making this look easy.
Yeah, BLG getting completely slapped. Going back to that mid lane play, Cryin, really nice by him to buy the time, going back to his other distortion. But we saw what I was hitting on earlier about the big difference this game is the amount that ShiauC is able to move from this bottom lane. Got there, helped to play with Hacker, instantly pivot towards this bottom side to kill the 2 members of BLG in the bottom lane. They pick up their second dragon, and they're just keeping this momentum going forward. And I think lucky for Ultra Prime, top lane just been a complete stalemate.
I mean, now
Sure, 20 CS down.
FoFo has the flash. ShiauC almost catching up. FoFo over the wall, but Cryin wants the chase. Breed's going to help out. Alia's out of Mega Gnar, so they stop, but I just don't know what's going on. I mean, BLG, look at this roster. Look at the names. Look at the moves. BLG, what was this?
And we see Cryin using the distortion to try and clear the waves. Sees 2 members coming, goes back instantly, knows he has these 2 members in River. ShiauC, the fact that he's able to move, pops the quickness, finds us one, and like you said, that Emperor's Divide did absolutely nothing as BLG over-aggressing in this bot lane for this. They thought they'd be able to get out, but right there, really nice pull of the Gravitum coming out from Elk. Sets up for the 2 kills to come out in the bottom lane as well. And just 3 kills picked up in quick succession that turned instantly into a dragon take.
The map is melting. It's like in Chicken Little when he said the sky's falling and no one believed him. And they had to actually see it in person to believe it could happen. Ultra Prime coming into today, I thought, nah, this is a 2-0 for BLG. I prefaced it with Ultra Prime being out of playoffs, and probably not going to care as much, but they're coming into this full force, and BLG are getting smacked around. It's like a game of ping pong against the wall. Right now, I'm struggling to see how you can beat it.
Oh, we do see, though, a bit of a trade side come in right now. I expect BLG to be able to get this turret with the range that they have coming in onto the spot lane. Alias and Cryin definitely can't hold this. So I assume that Ultra Prime will be able to answer on the opposite side with only Breed answering 4 members on the opposite side. So Gold still the same place that it was before. Ultra Prime definitely in command of the map and just pressure overall with the leads that they've been able to find. But still, Gold isn't too far gone to where BLG wouldn't be able to bring this back with just 1 good team fight.
Yeah, okay. Well, good to mention. Again, scaling's there. And I am jumping to conclusions, Lyric. Reason being because BLG in Game 1, the way it ended, gives me that little bit of doubt. The way this has started has just been pretty clean from Ultra Prime. And yeah, unlucky. WeiWei on the Poppy, Lyric, hasn't actually been able to use the W much against 4 of these dashes.
No, we haven't seen WeiWei able to find opportunities. A lot of it comes down to that early warding that Ultra Prime had. We need to remember, though, BLG, we've already hit on the scaling, wanting the 5v5s, which they haven't been able to take from Ultra Prime consistently finding picks and then pivoting that into the neutral objectives, so there haven't been any standoffs around neutral objectives for the side of BLG. But again, the detriment for BLG is the fact that their comp doesn't have any real engage. You have Crisp diving in, trying to set up for everyone else. You have FoFo, who can maybe try and set up as a primary engage, but either way, right, neither of those slap as hard as a Leona or a Nautilus, which can guarantee those fights. So for BLG, who are on the back foot and aren't able to force their way, into mid wave or into an objective, it could be hard for them to find advantageous fights, even if they do have setup.
We'll be looking at WeiWei then and how he sets himself up or how he sets up the rest of PLG. Crisp as well with some of that supplementary engage. At the very least, it's all ifs and buts at this point because Ultra Prime are not giving them that full 5v5. On the side lanes, once again, here we go. Kick against the wall. Easily done. Smooth criminal. Even Michael Jackson could pull off those moves.
No, Cryin lands everything absolutely smooth, gets the damage down nice by Hacker waiting in the wings, and we're finally starting to see that mid-jungle combo come online, that pick composition that we were, saying is what Ultra Prime want to be playing for now that the map is unlocked. So, great by them to play towards those win cons. Dragon up in less than 1 minute. You have summoners up across the board except for Hacker's Flash. I would expect FoFo's Flash to be coming up around a similar time, so maybe for the side of BLG, you can, buy time before that one's up and then try and find the fight that you want. But I would expect Ultra Prime to be able to keep up control of both mid-wave and the side wave with the LeBlanc to hopefully to be able to get in river first. And heck, they already even have vision down towards that bottom side.
Lyric, does Ocean Soul change how Ultra Prime can play a 5v5? Because, again, scaling just seems to be an obvious answer for BLG. But I feel like it gives leverage when you've got a Mega Gnar, when you've got angles with LeBlanc as well.
100%, especially when we're talking about BLG playing off range, kiting them back, poking them out. I think Ocean Soul can do a lot for Ultra Prime in terms of how they take fights. Hacker has Rift Herald is going to drop that in this fight. I mean, I feel like ShiauC's really been the big playmaker, so we're keeping our eyes on him and his use of the quickness in this one. For the side of BLG, they're already being forced out, so this one is very rough. Up can just pivot down to the bottom side river right now.
Jelly just going to trade off this turret. Look at the top side. You can see that Breeze wants something. ShiauC off on his little exit. And there we go. Another charge coming through. But as Shelly dies, send one out. You'd throw F in the chat for that, especially with Uzi now getting eaten up. Elk ulting again. Look at this over the wall. ShiauC with the quickness. We mentioned Shirelli as well with the movement speed. Ultra Prime. I thought they were ending after the Ida, but Lyric, this team wants blood.
Yeah, luckily for them, luckily for BLG, that Ultra Prime weren't able to actually find any kills, so it allowed for Bree to get a lot of alone time in this top side. They will still trade up because they got 2 turrets, in comparison to 1. They're going to be able to get this Dragon as well. So for Ultra Prime, they're still trucking along smoothly. Luckily for BLG, again, they're 4 turrets to 5. They have been able to find ways into this game in terms of gold. They've only been 2k gold behind pretty much the whole time, despite the aggressive moves that Ultra Prime have made. But Ultra Prime still haven't died yet, sitting on Soul Point. This is as good of a start as you can ask for without the Nexus just blowing up by itself.
That's right, man. 21 minutes into the game. We'll wait another 4.5 before Ocean Soul to be contested. You guys can't see this, but the Robo Colonel, he's pointing. Lyric, he's pointing off the screen. He's telling BLG to go away. And I guess that's because he doesn't have faith. Robo Colonel believes in Ultra Prime, and he's given a bit of favoritism at the moment to this team that has a triple bounty, has 2.5 items here on some of the core carries, actually just 2 flat out between Cryin and Elk, and are in such a good position with now full vision control around Baron, apart from the Scuttle Crab.
And if Ultra Prime can, now pivot to mid, send Cryin down to this bottom side, this is where their comp will really flourish, being able to force someone down and hopefully pick and poke people around. Breathe. Okay. Gonna look for it, but I don't know why I'm questioning or getting excited when I've already hit on many times that BLG don't actually have a way of locking down the members of Ultra Prime.
You believe in the Poppy. I mean, we still need to see the Keeper's Verdict come out. Cooper's Verdict. English not my strong suit here today, Lyric, but is BLG going to go in for this? Half HP already. Ultra Prime now pull out that W tool that we talked about as a nice little interaction. We are A-ramming, but we're just flipping the map a little bit from left to right. As ShiauC at half HP. Look at the poke from FoFo. And I guess, yeah, we're going to fight for this one, but look at the targets. Elk goes in, but the slide and glide. The Emperor's Divide. Knock up onto Ultra Prime is decent when BLG with the team behind. The W beautiful from WeiWei gives Uzi a bit of space, but he's out of mana. Needs a reset. One more auto. Oh, my God. He's so close, but he gets it. Hacker jumps on in. That's beautiful. Wait. Hacker turns it. No, he doesn't. Uzi turns it. Oh, my God. What is this series? What is this series? I really don't know. What was that fight? I think I need 2 replays to know what happened in that fight. People were getting knocked up. People were getting chunked out of nowhere. I feel like Cryin did a ton of damage. FoFo finally found an ultimate, but I think it was only onto 1 member. WeiWei, I think that, my God. Thank God we're going into the replay. Help us out here. As I do know one thing, ShiauC gets chunked out extremely early on. Damage going to follow through here from Elk going so far forward. This is what opens up the engage to come out from Ultra Prime. Breathe able to get onto the back line.
with how far forward he went. And then Alias finding a 3-man ult here. There's that W from Poppy stopping the distortion damage from being able to come through. And then, like you said, one more auto, but bam!
Whoa.
Comes in with the safeguard. But FoFo aggressively going in. I thought Hacker saved the day here, turned it around. But Breathe able to keep things going. Uzi able to tether in space perfectly, and BLG finish it through. We definitely needed that replay. I definitely learned a lot more of what happened in that fight the second time around.
I had no clue. Like, ults in this game, I'm now realizing are a very big deal. Elk as well, dashing forward for his. Cryin with the double distortion again. Like, FoFo's ult. Ah, dude, I don't even know. Good luck to you, good luck to me. Because we're going to see another one of those again. The 5v5, exceptionally fun. And Hacker actually, that was sick. That was a really nice ult into the follow-up Gore Drinker. Because he made that pretty competitive to round us out.
I mean, even Cryin, I feel like Cryin, again, I feel like we saw damage from that fight. Cryin probably did so much just going in and out, hitting with those distortions. Nice to see the Poppy kind of finally work out in terms of being able to stop some of those dashes from coming through. And we see the hints of what's possible with BLG's comp. And man, I'm just so happy that this series turned out to be a complete mess. And we're going to keep getting fights that are at the flip of a coin.
Well, Ultra Prime are the ones grouped up first. Cryin going to lose Banshee Fell, but FoFo getting low. Now, we play it a bit front to back with FoFo sending his sticks into the foot of ShiauC. Imagine it piercing through the skin. As BLG right now, they get a bit of mid-pro in front of the Dragon. It's 30 seconds to Ocean Soul for Ultra Prime. And I apologize for everyone that took that quite literally in their brains.
Just like the team fights, I have no idea what you're saying right now. BLG have vision control. It looks like they don't have any flanks to rebound in terms of wards behind them. The bot wave is neutral as well, so no Cryin's here. Cryin might get picked on.
Okay, well, FoFo's jumping in, but again, it's the LeBlanc. What else do you do? BLG still in the river.
No engage from the side of BLG, so how do they lock him down to pick him off? They need Ultra Prime to come into them.
Or you use FoFo and Breathe going forward. Uzi as well with the Q. Doing quite a lot, 2.5 items, and yeah, that range advantage starting to really come through. As Hacker spotted out over the wall, BLG with the health bar advantage at this point.
And that's what BLG need, right? Get on objective first.
He's deep. And Breathe comes through. FoFo with the slide back again. TP a little bit late. WeiWei on the backside, taking care of Cryin. Breathe kills the other one. Ultra Prime are divided. And BLG come back for a team fighting success. Cryin may get the jungler, but BLG have numbers in front of this magician.
Cryin just trying to keep the pressure on them as Breathe going to be able to take down Hacker.
That's nicely done. Gwen not even needing to be immune. BLG, that's a team fight win, Lyric. 3 for 1, I think it was at the end as we get another bit of a mess.
And we finally get to see what happens when Ultra Prime have to walk into them. The huge range coming out from the Jinx and the Azir. That they got, massive AoE damage onto Ultra Prime's comp, chunking numerous of them out, preventing them from being able to walk in. And now BLG gonna be able to pick up their first dragon of the game. So luckily, no soul for the side of Ultra Prime, and gold is even. Teams right now, I mean, they're going head-to-head, they're going toe-to-toe, and heck, with BLG not being behind now, you'd have to think that they're favored going forward with how the compositions have rounded out. For Ultra Prime, luckily, right, you only need one kind of crazy steal to come off to be able to guarantee yourself soul. But here is the fight. I believe this was after they'd already gotten chunked out a little bit. Elk goes for the ultimate, but just getting hit by numerous members of the side of BLG, is able to get away, but FoFo sending Hacker in, so he goes down. And then Breathe able to dash over the wall, the needlework to finish off Elk. He's the big damage dealer. In the opposite side of the fight, though, Cryin was able to take out WeiWei. But if FoFo and Uzi are still trucking along, BLG can win.
We're going to pick, though. It's onto WeiWei. The jungler just dead. He can't press W in time. Ultra Prime have one. Teleport out. ShiauC wants to interrupt. Sonic Wave connects, but not in time. The kick was moments away. FoFo to survive. But just as BLG win a team fight, Lyric, they've lost their jungler in front of Baron.
Yeah, still, though, Alias doesn't have TP, so he has to walk all the way over, and he's in Mega Gnar right now. So he will not have that for any potential fight that breaks through. Cryin trying to chunk them out and prevent them from walking in.
Well, he's over the wall with a distortion. BLG moving into River. Remember, this BLG are the scaling team, and they're feeling pretty confident, even out their jungler. Running forward, Alias trying to get his Mega Gnar bar. Cryin's over the wall on top of Uzi. Bursting down. Devour not coming through. Crisp holds the line. but now Uzi has to pick up the lettuce to heal up as Ali's on the back end. Hacker wants that Sonic Wave. Uzi zoned out FoFo again, but he's eaten up by Crisp. Interrupted, no. Deep as anything, saves his mid lane and Breathe. Goes into the back line, but Uzi now resetting, getting excited. Onto the Baron. It's now BLG's turn to hit the worm.
And Crisp does it again.
Okay, that's an ult from Elk. That's an ult from Elk, and Hacker's coming in, Cryin over the wing as well. BLG way too low. Everyone, hold on to your pants. This game is going late.
This game is way too tense for one of the teams that can't even make playoffs. But Ultra Prime and BLG, oh my God. I understand what Ultra Prime were looking for there in terms of starting out that Baron. It went all over the place. They almost found the pick on FoFo, but it was so tragic that they weren't able to finish it off. We'll get to see how the whole fight panned out because Cryin trying to burst out Uzi, like you said. They get the heal there. And then it looks like, okay, Alias, you're forcing out Breathe on the opposite side. That's good. FoFo goes in, gets chunked so low with Elk having to flash. But Crisp is so
What a
clutch.
hero.
Sadly, Breathe able to get back into the fight. That whole thing took long enough for his W to come back up as well, because one of the key things for Ultra Prime was they baited out Breathe's W at the start of that fight. I thought that was beautiful from them, and I thought that that would have been enough for them to take it. But Crisp coming in to save the day, buys space for both Uzi and FoFo to get off the damage they need to pick up some kills on their end.
Crisp has just been trying so hard in this series. Like, people are praising FoFo, praising Breathe. Agreed. But Crisp is the cornerstone of BLG with their strength in both Game 1 and Game 2. On this time, Kench once again, watch out for him as WeiWei starting the engage this time. But you talked about a BLG, not a reliable engage at that. WeiWei and Crisp burnt out as the TP's over the wall, but Ultra Prime kiting back, Cryin out of the Baron pit for now as Breathe is the raid boss. This guy literally going to start singing Megalovania as BLG now get control back in front of the Baron again. But look at the side lane, Alia's pushing out while BLG still want to force them into the 5v5.
And that's the crucial thing, right? Now that they control the area, you do have a form of engage now. And the form of engage is the threat that you have on the objective to force them to come in.
Sure.
So BLG not having the confidence, just look for that one. Obviously, if they did hard commit to Baron, that could turn into a little bit of a flip. Are just going to go for some resets for now. And, I mean, heck, for BLG, right, they feel comfortable taking this one slow because they know their champions across the board with items do more than the opposing side. So Ultra Prime going to try and wrestle some vision control back, but with Dragon up in 40 seconds, you expect the game to start pivoting down towards that bottom side.
40 seconds over the wall. Look at where Cryin is. Sneaky, sneaky. They don't know. When Ultra Prime know that BLG need this series, need this game to try and get towards playoffs this split, they want to continue playing the upset. Cryin now spotted out as he gets over the wall. BLG hunched together as Breed is the person confident enough to go on his lonesome. Sonic Wave connects as Ultra Prime off to the right side. This is Ocean Soul, and BLG put up the Sunroom, now ready to go through mid to threaten around, but this is Ocean Soul. What can BLG do in this time?
I mean, they're going to be able to get the start for sure. Heck, they can probably get the inhibitor as well. They might even just be able to push through, look for the end. Okay, finally multiple resets are coming off, but BLG don't care.
Oh,
they're still going.
They're staying. They want to rely on Uzi here on the Nexus turret in front of the Ocean Soul. Sent away is Elk, but now even in 5v4, they've lost someone.
Gone.
They've lost FoFo. Foker is down. ShiauC with the engage, but he's kited back. Breed going forward with the needlework. The Super Mega Death Rocket. Uzi Eye. BLG's 80 carry now popping off in the back line. Chris saving his life to flush away the micro from this man. Look at him while Breed takes care of the rest. WeiWei with the cleanup. BLG play the game of chicken, and Ultra Prime ain't going to be the winners of that one.
And Ultra Prime just got way too desperate after fighting that initial pick, but Cryin does it!
We go on. I love my LPL. Nice and juicy with blood all around the edges. 28 kills in 33 minutes. Lyric, round 2 in front of the Nexus turrets.
2v3 here.
Golden is Hacker for now. The Nexus turret goes down. Hacker getting low. BLG running forward. Cryin needs to stop this. ShiauC in. Once again, it's only one-man knockup. Uzi free firing onto ShiauC. The AoE. Cryin's up next. FoFo TP's in. That's the way we go to a game 3.
And at the end of the day, BLG figured out how to use that range advantage. They weren't overforcing too much. They just knew, hey, I mean, Ultra Prime can't really run into us. Every time they did, we started seeing that